This might just get a little inappropriate. Hi everyone, it's Noah. Today I'm actually filming at night, so the lighting is really bad because it's just the one in my room instead of more natural light coming in, which I apologize for, but as you will hear later, my roommate was in the room the whole day pretty much, and I didn't quite have time to film without her and the outside noise that would be here as well. So sorry if the lighting's a little weird, but yeah, I guess I will move into the reviews now. Today I'm here to do a little review of sorts. Actually, no, it's just a review. I was going to just do the review on a movie that I watched last night, but then I also finished reading a book today and I figured I would talk about that as well. But first, I'm going to talk about the movie because I did the activity first. Last night I watched Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds, and I had heard such great things about the movie, so I don't know if it was high expectations, but I did end up enjoying the movie anyway. But first things first, the movie is not the superhero type that I thought it would be. I mean, it kind of is, but not really. Not in like the typical Superman type of way, maybe. But it is a Marvel movie, and Wolverine gets mentioned, and so does the Xavier's School for Gifted Kids, or whatever the school is called. And so I'm assuming there was some sort of collaboration there, and maybe Deadpool is being recruited by X-Men, or something like that. So yeah. And the film is funny, I'll give them that, maybe in a bit of an inappropriate sexual way, but it was funny. I would say that it's for an older age group. There's a lot of like sexual innuendos and sex scenes. Well, not a lot, but some. There's like a whole chunk of it in the movie. But yeah, it's really funny and kind of sweet at the end. Yeah. And overall, I did enjoy the movie. It is a little inappropriate and, gets a little gory at times, but what action-filled movie isn't, I guess. But yeah, I do recommend it, and again, I will say that it is mostly for a older generation, but if you want to watch it and you're not, then go at your own risk. I'm not quite sure what the movie is rated, but it might be R if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, go at your own risk if you're not, 17 or older or whatever, but I do recommend the movie. And that was really quick, so I'm really glad that I have something else to review. Today I went to the library to return 2 books that I had borrowed, but then I got distracted by the usual bookshelf where I borrow my books on the first floor of my college library, and I was looking around and I pulled out a Judy Blume book. Now, if you watched my 50 Facts About Me video, which I will link in the down bar below, and have a little watch link button up here, you will know that I really love Judy Blume, and the only adult type book that I read by her was in 7th grade, I think, and it was called Summer Sisters, and I love that book. I bought it. It's in my bookshelf at home, and I didn't know that she had written another book, which I found at the library. It's called In the Unlikely Event. Oh my god, I was really excited. I haven't read it yet because the other book, which I'm going to review, I ended up reading more into it because I wasn't quite sure what it would be about, and so I ended up just finishing that book, and I knew that I just had to read this just because it was a Judy Blume book. And it takes place in the 1950s to 1987, and this woman, I would say, a young woman, Mary Ammerman, basically about her life and that time in the 50s, and like about communist threats and war and things like that. And so I picked up this book, and I was looking around looking for another book because I usually borrow more than one book, and I was looking around and I found this book called Guest Room, and I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the author's name, but you can see it here. And I read the blurb, right? Blurb, had to know what it was about. I always usually read the first couple pages, and then I got really intrigued, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna borrow this book. And then I ended up just curling up in a chair in the library and later in the lounge in my dorm and finishing this whole book. I hadn't done that in so long, and I felt so like relaxed, and I love that feeling. I love just being able to read a book for fun and really all in one day, which I haven't done since maybe middle school, I think. This book is 314 pages long. It's a pretty good read. This book is also kind of, I wouldn't say inappropriate, I would say it's more for the young adult age. And it is a bit of a thriller. It's about these two strippers, or what they were thought to be as strippers for this bachelor party. And it's in the blurb, so I'm not quite ruining anything, but they kill their Russian bodyguards, and they in that house where the bachelor party took place. And then the people who attended the bachelor party are kind of left there talking to the police, like, oh my god, what just happened? And the book is separated into 3 parts, I believe, and there were chapters about the people who attended the bachelor party, and more of a narrative section of one of the strippers named Alexandra. And it's really this, I guess, sad background story, and you get of this girl Alexandra, and you get more insight into what her life was like and what led up to her and her friend, her fellow stripper woman, killing these 2 bodyguards. It's quite sad, a little horrific. I wouldn't say it was gory, but I would say that it was kind of uncomfortable. I guess it's more like a Law and Order SVU type of book, kind of, with more background and insight into it. But I did like this a lot. I'm so glad that I had the time to just go through and sit down and finish this whole thing. I love doing that, and hopefully I will be able to finish the Judy Blume book before I leave, before the semester's over. I mean, they said that I have until May 31st, and I'm going to come back to campus for my sister's graduation on May 22nd, but what if the library is not open? I'm not trying to get fined, so I have 2 weeks until the school year is completely over, until I have time to finish and return the book, so hopefully I will be able to do that again, maybe next weekend or something like that. But yes, these are the 2 books that I borrowed, and Guest Room is the one that I have done the review on. I will leave the link to it on Barnes & Noble or Amazon or something in the down bar below, just so you guys can check it out. I've never heard of this author, and it seems that he has written a lot. He wrote 18 books, it seems, and his novel Midwives was a #1 New York Times bestseller and a selection of Oprah's book club. Seems impressive. And I'm pretty sure this book was recent. If I remember correctly, it was written in 2016, I think. There were some current mainstream media type references, like Kim Kardashian and The Bachelor, and something else that was really recent. I forgot now. But yeah, this is what the book is like, and just to show you what the narratives were like, for example, the chapter where they would talk about the people and their families who attended the bachelor party would look like this. Just like regular, chapter book, novel. And then when it's about the call girl, it would actually say her name like this, and it would look like this, and you would know that Alexandra is talking, this is about her life, it's all in first person, whereas the other chapters would be in the third person. You guys, I'm actually quite impressed with myself that I finished this book in a day. I'm actually so glad that I had the time to do this. I know I've said that so many times, but really, I'm really glad that I was able to do this, because the other books that I borrowed, I kind of just would put in a bookmark and then leave it for another time when I was eating or something, or whenever I had time, but then I would always just get caught up with Netflix. But today, usually I probably would have done that, but I went out. My roommate stayed in today instead. She usually is out of the room the whole time, but she wasn't, so it forced me to get out of the room, and I was eating, and I was finishing up one of the other books that I had borrowed before, and I was like, okay, this book is really interesting, I might as well start reading more into it, instead of going back to my room just to watch Netflix, And I did stop at one point while I was in the library to do an assignment that was due at 5 p.m. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just read halfway and save it for later. But then I ended up just coming back to my dorm, sitting in the lounge, and just finished reading this book. And I'm really glad because I read like so much of the books in my public library when I was in high school, and it was really hard trying to find a new book that I really could get into in college. I kind of would just read into it like halfway or like a fourth of the way and being like, wow, I don't really enjoy this, but I think I was able to finish this through because I had the time and because I just read this whole thing through. I mean, I'm not saying that the other books that I had picked out had any problem, you know, but maybe it just wasn't appealing to me because I would have something else in my mind, or I just didn't feel like I had the time to read it, meaning I just wanted to watch Netflix. But yes, that is the end of my video for a very short review on Deadpool and a review on this book, Guest Room. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you would like, go watch Deadpool and go borrow, buy, whatever, you know, rent on some website the book Guest Room as well. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.